I didn't know anything about the whole prison being built on toxic land. People need to know what's going on. People dying here.
I think the biggest thing is that it was denial, that they even had a problem. That's been their stance, and that continues to be their stance. And meanwhile, people are dying in the facility and around the facility. It's a pretty big deal. Prior to getting SCF, I was in excellent condition. I didn't have any health conditions. When I got there, I'd say after about the second day, my nose started to close up. I didn't think anything of it. Everybody else was on allergy medicine, so I'm figuring, maybe it's the climate. And then my journey began.
There are different ways that perhaps you can categorize a prison as being toxic. One of the ways is that you've built a prison on top of or right next to a toxic site. For instance, with SCI Fayette, they just dumped tens of millions of tons of coal waste. You get a prison stuck on top of a trash heap. Some of the coal ash was quite high in arsenic. And arsenic is, of course, a carcinogen. That in and of itself has pretty severe medical consequences for people who are chronically exposed to it.
I got to Fayette. About 3 or 4 months later, I got my first nosebleed. Never had a nosebleed before. And that was just the start of everything from that point on. A nosebleed turned into another nosebleed, and really every part of my body would just out of nowhere randomly swell up. I literally watched myself age by about a good 6, 7, 8 years right before my eyes. So I started pretty much gathering that I was being poisoned from prison.
So what we've uncovered is an excess of 50 million tons of waste has been dumped on that site.
So this diamond here is State Correctional Institution Fayette. All of this yellow area here is the coal refuse disposal area. So that's where on the other side of the river, there was a very large coal mine, and it would send the waste product from the coal mine across the river and dump it all in here.
Warmer months, the stuff blows right over into the yards. It's just like if you were to blow dust over, kids in a playground. We just used to see the dust come off the hill. You didn't think anything of it. The water is colored like a brown. The air is bad, so you basically are starting to fight for your health and eventually fight for your life.
The real danger to the coal ash is when it's being actively dumped and this dust is getting up in the air and people are breathing it in chronically. That was, in fact, causing excessive number of respiratory illnesses among the prisoners there. And it's cruel and unusual punishment to force people to live next to an operating coal ash dump and breathe this stuff in. They're treating those people as if they're garbage.
My esophagus shut down. It just completely shut down. I felt like somebody was choking me. So I called my brother up, and I told my brother on the phone, I'm not gonna make it. I had 2 years. I'm not gonna make these 2 years. I felt as though I was gonna die. And I started crying. A 12-year-old son, and I'm like, you can't do this to me. I don't care who you are. That'll change you. It'll break you. I'm in prison. I'm being poisoned. And there was nothing I could do.
I had to write a letter to my family. I had to keep it on my person. I'm not feeling good and they take me out, get this letter from me. So it was kind of just preparing for the worst. People are being sent to these sites that don't have death by poisoning. Most people sentenced to prison are coming home. Those people, you're sending them to toxic sites to be poisoned. We're torturing them and physically and psychologically, or are we letting them pay their debt to society with dignity?
There's 2 avenues for addressing it. One is closing it, which is a really heavy ask and a hard ask because of the amount of resources devoted there. And the other one is mitigating the harm. And I think it would be good, a more substantial environmental monitoring, both of the water and of the air quality. You need to be continually looking at this issue and not sweeping it under the rug.
These are real human lives. They weren't sentenced to death to be treated inhumanely. They need to shut that place down.
My belief that these projects that we're doing, the parts add up to a bigger sum, and that sum moves the ball forwards in achieving that sort of radical change in the society. That is what keeps me going. I know there's former prisoners, particularly in Philadelphia, like Richard, who are still organizing to try to do something about the prison.
I didn't go up there to come back to be an activist. There was no way I could go home and get good sleep, knowing that people I sat and ate with and all that are suffering and sitting in harm's way. The choice I made was to do something about it and to bring attention to people being poisoned and can't get out of harm's way. I wasn't just going to come home and turn my back on it.